position. You can have your feet slightly separated. Just let your arms relax beside you, and then just pause and either soften your gaze or you can close your eyes gently. And taking a few minutes now before we start moving to observe our bodies in space. Notice how you are feeling. And it's a lovely way to be able to notice how our bodies respond to any movements and breath that we do. So that when we finish today's session, we can pause, observe, and integrate all the movements into our bodies. And this morning, before we start, just start to notice your body from the inside out. So as you breathe, notice the expansion of your lungs. And as you exhale, just feeling the lungs soften, release, deflate. And if you can imagine the internal stretch that you are giving yourself when you breathe in. And on the exhale, feeling the softening of all those muscles and letting them settle back into place. Taking one more breath in and out. And in your own time, blink your eyes open. We're going to start with a roll down. Inhale, expand. And exhale, just look at your feet. And start to roll gently through your spine. And you can go as low as you feel comfortable. If you're quite flexible, you might be able to take your hands all the way to the ground. And when you reach the bottom, stay there for a moment, relaxing into the back of the neck. And just noticing where you're stretch, where you're holding tension today. And on your next breath, unravel, coming all the way back up into standing. Rolling up slowly. And then just settle your body back into space. Taking both arms, go to inhale, reach all the way up. Connect each fingertip to its partner. And exhale, just allowing the arms to come all the way down again and again. So we are at the shoulders. Feel the glide on the back of your ribs. And as you float the arms back down, just allowing the scapula to move freely on your back body. Taking two more, breathing in. Feel how the ribs expand wide. And exhale. Now on this last one, we're going to inhale, reaching all the way up. And this time you're going to interlock the fingers, exhale, and just place your hands lightly behind your head. Let the elbows come a little bit forward. So if I turn sideways, you can see my elbows are slightly forward. I'm not pushing them backwards in space. And then bend your knees very slightly. And start to draw little circles, little figure of eights with your elbows on either side. So if you can imagine a piece of chalk on either elbow, you're going to be drawing a circle on the walls on either side of you. And as you draw this figure of eight with your elbows, start to bring your awareness towards the shoulder joint. And notice how your shoulders are drawing that same figure of eight action. They are circling. So you're not just swinging the elbows around. This movement is actually coming from the shoulder closer to your body. And then keep drawing these little figure of eights. And we've got the knees bent so that you don't take any strain into the lower back. Start to notice how your ribs move with you. So this is all part of gyrokinesis, gyrotonic. All of this beautiful, spiraling, mobilizing movement. So in fact, the movement of your ribs is driving the shoulders, is driving the elbows. And now start to bring your awareness to your spine. laterally flexing. So your spine is the driving force before this whole movement. And now experiment for yourself. How does it feel if you slow down and make it a little bit bigger? Feel it out on your own body. So this is really valuable movement for the whole shoulder girdle because we are affecting all of those attachments to the bottom of the ribs. We're affecting everything inside the rib cage. And now how does it feel if you go small and light? Small and light. So you're almost refining your movement. Make sure that you're still breathing. And then come back to the center and pause. You can straighten your knees, keep your elbows a little bit forward. Now, about 5% effort. Start to push the back of your head into your hands. Just a gentle pressure backwards. And then release. And again, it's a 5% effort. Pushing your head gently back into your hands, but your hands are stopping your head from going anywhere. So there's a little bit of a tension along the back of the neck. And release. And now we're going to push back very gently, 5%, and then look a little bit down towards the floor and get the feeling that you're pushing your head slightly up and back into your hands. And release, let your eye line come forward. Let's do that one more time. Pushing your head lightly back in your hands. Nod your chin so you're looking a little bit down to the floor. And you're pushing your head up and back. And release. So effectively what you're doing is hydrating the fascia along the back of the neck. Bend your knees, release your hands and reach up. Exhale, bring the arms all the way around, bringing them down beside you. And then take a moment to roll your shoulders back and around here. Now, we're going to come towards a wall space. So I've got the wall right here. You guys should be able to see me. If you have a cupboard, if you have a countertop that you can lean against or a wall, see what works for you. And I'm just going to move a little bit this way. So put your hands against the wall where it feels comfortable for your wrists. And I want you to find some width across your upper back and start to bend your elbows to come forward towards the wall. And then press backwards and straighten your arms. So we are doing push-ups in a standing position. And I want you to feel the width across your upper back. So there's no protraction and retraction of the scapula. You're maintaining it. And it doesn't matter if it's a big bend of the elbow or not. You can keep it very small. But what's really nice about doing standing push-ups like this is we're not having to worry about gravity so much. We can really focus on the technique of keeping the scapula glued onto the back of the rib cage. Let's do one more time. And then press all the way back. And then you can release, step away, and give your hands just a little bit of a shake. All right, so now we are going to be transitioning down onto our mats. So I'm coming a little bit towards the back of my mat, feet slightly apart. Take a breath in. On your exhale, just look towards your toes and start rolling forward through your spine. And just let yourself come as low to the ground as it feels comfortable for you. And then just stay for a moment. Just notice how this feels after doing our spiraling, after doing our fascial release, after doing our wall push-ups. And then bend your knees and walk your hands all the way down. So you're coming onto all fours. Set yourself up. Wrists below shoulders, knees below hips. Make any adjustments that you need, but you're in a lovely lengthened spine. Let's go into our cat stretch. Start by curling your tail under, rounding your spine up towards the sky, keeping your chin tucked in, and then lengthen, reaching your tail back, and either come to neutral or come towards your extension of the spine. And again, start curling the tail under, and I want you to first of all think about the movement of your shoulder blades. So in every single session that we've done so far, we've brought our awareness to that protraction and retraction of the scapula on our back of our bodies. And you can either isolate that movement or you can start to notice the movement within an exercise, and this is the perfect one right here. So when you round your spine and round your thoracic area, your scapula glide wide, they protract. And then when you come to extension, you can feel that retraction of the spine. Now we're going to keep the movement going. And when you round your spine and your chin comes in towards your throat, you've gone into a little bit of a flexion of the cervical spine. And when we did that standing exercise with our hands behind our head and we created some pressure, that is designed to create release here. Because a lot of people hold so much tension in their neck and around the fascia that rounding the spine becomes a huge stretch. Let's do one last one. Rounding your spine. And then lengthen, just come back to neutral and hold it here. Now, if you need a break with your wrists, just give them a little bit of a shake. We're going to try some push-ups here, now that we've had an experience of it against the wall. So glue your scapula, start by bending the elbow a minute amount, and then just pause there and double check that, first of all, your lower abs are engaged. And do you have your back wide? And then press away and straighten the elbows. Now, if that felt okay, bend the elbows and maybe you can go a little bit lower down. So especially a lot of men, so Tom, you probably find this quite easy because most men have a lot more upper body strength than women. So you could go onto toes if you like and do a proper push-up. But for most of us, if we're looking at neck and shoulder issues, we want to rather focus on the stability of the upper body here. Making sure that you can keep the scapula in place rather than collapsing, because so many people collapse in the upper body. Find the width. And let's just take two more. One more time. And press up, hold it. Now balance on your left hand and bring that right arm underneath you. You can stay on your forearm if you like, or you can continue sliding through to thread the needle. And just make sure that your head feels comfortable. If you need to support yourself, absolutely go for it. And I want you to stay here and start to push your left hand gently into the floor as if you're going to roll towards your back and then do a little release. And again, little push. It is a tiny movement. And all you're doing here is keeping the arm, the shoulder, and the scapula on the right side stable. And by pushing with the left hand, you're actually rolling your rib cage underneath. So you're probably going to feel a lovely release along the neck and maybe between the shoulder blades on those rhomboids. Let's take one more. And release. Push into the left hand, come all the way up and return to all fours. Now let's do the other side. Taking the left hand, threading the needle all the way through. Just let yourself settle there for a moment, and then start a gentle push with the right hand and a little release. And a push, little release. Notice on your own body how it feels for you. Taking just a few more. Last one. And release. Come all the way up and come to center. So now we're going to be lying on our stomach. So you can either just lie down, or if you want to challenge yourself, walk your hands forward, and then you can move your shoulders in line with your wrists, glue the feet to the ground, and then bend your elbows and come all the way down onto your belly. So that can be a big challenge for a lot of clients, right? Okay, so guys, this is where the massage ball comes in. So I want you to take the ball and you're going to place it on your sternum, okay? And you want it about halfway down the sternum. Get yourself as comfortable as possible there. And then simply bend your elbows on either side and rest your head down. Just have your legs slightly separated. And we're just going to stay here, first of all, for a couple of breaths in and out. And as you breathe in, you'll feel that there's almost an extra pressure on the ball because your ribs expand when you inhale. Let's take one more breath in and out. And you can feel that you're getting pushed into a little bit of a rounded spine here, yeah? And now, just lift your head up gently, just engage your gluteals lightly, and start to come up into a little bit of an extension, just a little baby cobra, and you're probably going to feel that the ball rolls a little bit forward underneath you, and then release down, and hover the tip of your nose. And again, lengthening through the spine. And as you come up into a baby cobra, you're nudging the ball forward with your breastbone. It's still there. And releasing it down. Make sure that your lower back feels okay with this. So engage the gluteals lightly. One more time. Lifting eye line. Sending the breastbone just a little bit forward. And then releasing down. And then let your head rest on the floor again and almost just roll lightly from side to side. So you're almost giving your sternum a little bit of a massage side to side. And then release. Take the ball out. And when you lie down now, there's an amazing opening along the front of your chest, or at least that's what I experience. So just hover the tip of your nose, engage in gluteals. Let's do the cobra again without the ball. Lifting eye line, coming up into a baby cobra, and usually it feels like an incredible lightness through the chest here. And then releasing slowly down. Let's just do a few more. Go at your own pace. Oftentimes, when we do cobra, we kind of are inhibited because the front of our bodies get so stuck. And now what we're experiencing is the ease of movement now that we've created space at the front of our bodies here. So it's not just about maybe having a weak back. It's maybe sometimes about being tight along the chest and the front of the body. and release, and holding it here. So from here, we're going to turn onto our backs. And we're just going to lie supine for a moment. And get your knees and feet slightly separated. Make any adjustments you need with your pelvis. And then, as we've done in the past, let your hands just settle on the sides of your ribs. And just lie there and let your eyes close for a moment. And just let your body completely settle. Bring your awareness to each inhale and to each exhale. Feeling the movement of your ribs underneath your hands. Feeling that freedom and opening across your heart space. Taking a moment to bring your awareness to the back of your body and just noticing your head, the back of your ribs, your shoulders. Notice your pelvis and your feet. You don't have to change anything, just be aware. And when you're ready, blink your eyes open. Bring your hands up towards the sky. And by the way, if you need a cushion under your head, feel free to give yourself that support. And we're going to just start to scissor the arms. And we haven't actually done this exercise for a while. These are your arm scissors. And I'm a big believer that these are some of the most basic but fundamental exercises that help to free up the neck and the shoulders. So keeping your elbows as straight as possible, allowing the movement to come from the shoulder joint, not the elbow joints, and then become aware of your scapula gliding along the back of your ribs again. And if your scapula gets stuck, if they don't want to move, then oftentimes we end up taking the consequences into the neck. So anybody with a really tight neck, these arm scissors are fabulous. Let's take one more. Now bring your hands straight up, hold it here, and I want you to interlock the fingers. Lift your head and put your hands underneath your head for support. Now, we're going to do something a little bit unorthodox. I want you to bring your elbows towards each other, so it's almost like you're cupping your head with your arms. You're going to use your arms to do the chest lift. So you're going to nod the chin, and on your breath, pull your elbows towards your knees. So make sure that your lower back and your leg feel okay. And then use your arms to lower yourself back. And we're going to do two more like that. Nod your chin. And then on your breath, using your arms to pull forward. And you can feel that maybe you're getting quite a strong neural stretch or a pull along the back of your body. And releasing down. And we're going to do one more time. Nod your chin. Breathing out. Using your arms. And then releasing down. And now this time, open your elbows just to your periphery and now no more pulling on your head. So we're going to nod the chin. And on your breath, slide your ribs forward, no more pulling, and releasing it down. Let's do a few more. So now we're going into our classic abdominal work. And typically a lot of us and a lot of clients like to pull on the head. in order to come forward. And they take massive strain along the back of the body, and then they don't really effectively work the abdominals. So it's a nice way to highlight to them the difference between the two. And release. Let's do one more time. On your breath. And releasing all the way down. Good. Take your arms out. Now, you need to grab the little ball, and now we're going to do the fascial release of the back of the body. So you're going to slip it on one side. Now, if you have two balls, you could actually do both sides at the same time. But what we're going to do is put the ball just on one side, sort of underneath the shoulder blade. I don't know if you guys can see where I am right there. And then you can let your elbows just rest down or place the hands down. And just give yourself a little bit of a massage. See if you can find the hot spot. I need to take mine up a little higher, and there's my hot spot there. Just give yourself that little release. And then it doesn't matter that your shoulders are uneven. Just let your shoulder rest down to the floor and bring the arm up on the same side where the ball is. And all you're going to do is open your arm to the side and then bring your arm up again. And again, open arm to the side and lift up. So there's two things happening here. You've gripped the fascia with the ball. So as you start moving your arm, and you can feel that your scapula moves as well, you're going to be releasing the fascia. But also because that one side is lifted, you're going to be getting a little bit of a release along the chest, along the front arm line. And coming up, and then just cross your arm over and maybe give it one more little wiggle. You can even lift your hips up, give it a roll around, and then slip it out. Take the ball out for a moment, and then just lie there and actually notice how the one side feels in comparison to the other. And again, just my experience is that the side I've just released, my right side, is almost flat, and I can almost feel like my left scapula is poking out like a little chicken wing. So now I'm gonna release the other side, and let's see if it evens it out. So find a placement that works for you. And by the way, guys, if this feels at all uncomfortable underneath the pelvis or the lower back, all you need to do is put like a cushion or a pad underneath the lower back so that you get a little bit of a release. Oh, I can feel a hot spot there. So you just give it a little bit of a wiggle around, move the shoulder around so it feels good. And then just let the arms rest for a second, dig into it, and then bringing that same arm up. Opening your arm wide. And lifting up. And I'm just doing a simple open and close here, guys. You can draw arm circles. And what some people like as well is bringing the arm across the body as well. So you can increase the range if that feels good for you. Feel free to have a pillow underneath your head. All of this should feel good. One more time. And then just cross your arm over your chest. Do one more little wiggle around. So I like to lift my hips up and literally put my body weight on it. And then release, slip the ball out, place it down beside you. And then once again, lie down, close your eyes and just notice. And I'm always amazed at how my body reacts so well to this. Like it just feels everything softened and released across my back right now. All right, so we're gonna repeat this. Eyes open, bring your hands up towards the sky, turn your palms to face each other. Now let's repeat the arm scissors. Notice how that feels. Take 2 more. And then bring both hands up. Interlock the fingers. Place your hands underneath your head. Elbows floating in your periphery. And let's do our chest lift again. Elbows stay open. Breathing out. And releasing it down. And again, just observing on your own body if that works for you, to be able to find a release across your upper back. Two more. One more. And releasing it down. Good. Slide your hands out. Hug both knees in towards your chest and just rock gently from side to side. So what we did in our last session was we did the pelvic curl, and we thought about how the upper body connects to that whole bridge. And now it's the same thing. We just did a chest lift. We only really think about the abs usually. There's a whole system that's happening in the upper body that helps you do your chest lift there. So hopefully that helped to release it for you. Let's practice our slow roll up. So hands behind the knees. Start to move your thighs a little bit forward. Curl head and shoulders. And then pour your body weight in towards your feet. Slow, easy. Bringing your head down towards your knees. And then practice rolling backwards. But remember, this is just such a lovely, gentle transition for people that have neck issues or lower back issues. And releasing down. And we're going to take just one more time, bringing your thighs away. Curl head and shoulders. And using your exhale, shifting body weight. Forehead towards knees and rolling all the way upright into sitting. All right, guys, so we've got one more exercise that I want to go through with you. And remember, you rotate after we've done. Okay, so we did it first without any weights or resistance. And then if you remember, we did this, high release, and then come down. And then on our last session, remember what we did is lying supine, and we used the TheraBand. So now this is sort of one of the biggest progressions you can do. So get yourself in a comfortable seated position. If you want to sit up on a block or a bolster, go for it. You're going to take your band. Guys, you do not want to have too much tension on the band. It will actually be just a terrible exercise if you do too much tension. So give yourself almost like a foot in between your hands, thumb sticking out to the side, and just let the elbows come close to your body. But guys, remember, I don't advocate tucking the elbows in because people then crunch, right? So lift the breastbone and let the elbows float beside you. Let's start just with pulling the thumbs away. And then releasing in. And let's do that one more time. So this is purely external rotation of the shoulder. The rib cage and the scapula haven't moved. Let's do one more time like this. Pull. And release. Now, guys, we're going to add the extension. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. So pull your thumbs out. External shoulder rotation. Lift your breastbone and squeeze the scapula together. The eye line will naturally lift. Release your breastbone and then the hands come in. So first we do purely external shoulder rotation. Your spine doesn't move. Now lift your breastbone and squeeze the scapula together. Release and the hands come in. Let's do that one more time. It's hard work. External shoulder rotation. Lift the breastbone, extending thoracic spine, squeezing the scapula, and release, and release. So also it really helps, by the way, instead of bending backwards, think of lifting the front body. Okay, now guys, that wasn't the exercise. Now we're going to do the exercise. We're adding on to that. So, lengthening the spine. Start to externally rotate the shoulders. Lift your breastbone. Now stay there. Push your hands out to the sides. Keep lifting your breastbone. Bend your elbows back in. Imagine that you're going to touch your thumbs behind your back. Release your breastbone and release your hands. I'm going to turn front way so you can see what I'm doing. And we go. External rotation. Lift the breastbone. Push your hands out to the side. Lift your chest. Lift, 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 lift. Bending the elbows. Keep the breastbone lifted. And then release. And the hands come in. Are you okay for the last one? It's hard work. And we go. External rotation. Lift the breastbone. Only go as far as your body allows. Press the hands out. Lift, 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 lift. Bend the elbows in. Release the chest. And release the hands. Holy smokes, hard work. Bend the knees. Just allow yourself to rest one hand on top of the other. Rest your head down for a second. And just taking a moment to do this counter pose. So we've just done some lovely extension of the spine, and this will just give your body a chance to release. Focusing on your breath as you sit here. So this is essentially our resting position, except we happen to be seated. And let's just take one more time. Nice, easy breath in. Easy exhale. And then unravel your spine and lifting up. So let's come up into standing again. So standing upright. Separating your feet slightly. Let your arms settle beside you. Take a moment to close your eyes and bringing your awareness to your shoulders, your ribs, your thoracic spine. And again, noticing how your breath releases you from the inside out. When you're ready, blink your eyes open. Let's finish with one roll down. On your inhale, create a little bit of space for yourself. And on your exhale, look towards your toes. And just allowing all the stretches, all the exercises, all the movements that we did, including our breath, to register and to integrate into your body as you move right now. When you reach the bottom, pause, relaxing into the back of your neck, observing how you feel, and on your next breath, coming all the way back up into standing. Abdominals connecting, unraveling, lifting up and tall, and then take a moment to roll your shoulders around. Fantastic, guys. Let me just quickly turn the sound on, see how everybody feels. Hey, how was it? Everyone okay?
Really good. I couldn't do that last one with the TheraBand. It was hurting my shoulder too much. I lost the TheraBand. I did it without.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. The number of people that you don't even need to do resistance work, they're going to actually find the muscle activation without the TheraBand. It was quite hectic. How did everybody else feel with that last one? Yeah.
I find it really amazing how it releases so easily and beautifully here. I mean, it's just really, when I'm turning the focus and I'm really going into feeling and breath work, it really feels a lot of release afterwards.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's quite amazing. And I know that people have been talking about it for millennia. And we talk about it in Pilates. I mean, breathing is one of the principles of Pilates. But, you know, I think just more and more now, people are realizing that the breath isn't just inhale to execute this movement and then exhale to do this. It's definitely, there's this whole release that's happening from inside out every time you breathe. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one with the ball underneath the shoulder blades was incredible.
Yeah. No, you see,
I could literally feel the one shoulder blade sticking into the mat, like you said, you know, like on the other side when it hadn't been done.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just suddenly feel like everything's gotten wider underneath you. You've got more contact, right? But you know, it's so nice if you've got two balls. Like most people just have one, so we just do one side at a time. I think some of you guys, you probably have sets of them. Take two balls at the same time, just one on each side, and then do arm scissors, do arms open and close. I mean, it's just, I love that. Yeah. Cool. So guys, any questions about any of the exercises? Don't forget that I'm going to send you the recording of this so that you can kind of go through it again. And then, listen, this is a very, very finicky one. Remember that one that we did with the hands behind the head, we've got to almost push back a little bit? And then the chin, but you're keeping that up and back resistance. That makes sense. Because also you need to keep it so, so gentle. And Zelda, you were in that class with me. This is all part of that anatomy trains in motion, that swings in motion. And that's where I learned that one, is creating that little bit of resistance. And then when you release it, it's like, you know, but you don't want to go too hectic with it either. Felt okay? And Colleen, your neck was okay with that?
Absolutely fine.
Okay, awesome.
It actually feels as if the splenius capitis is getting a really good release with that pressure.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because I mean, that splenius capitis is such a short area leading up onto the neck. And so oftentimes all the other stretches that we do hit it like a little bit lower down. And that's very, very specific for cervical spine as well.
I'm not sure. I don't think I was doing that right. I didn't notice. I don't think I was doing it correctly.
Yeah, but this is just it. It's so, because you don't want to overdo it, because then, you know, you can actually do yourself. But it literally is in, lift up through the back of the neck, and then it's almost like I'm pushing my occipital bones up into my, you know, it's that lovely double chin that we all hate, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But the
That's
other
why
thing,
you said 5%, Renee.
what's that?
5%.
That's why you mentioned 5%.
Exactly. It's got to be like minimal. But the other thing.
That's why you mentioned the 5%, because it's a very tiny push.
Exactly. But there's another one that you can also do. If people aren't understanding, you can take the ball and like literally you're in 4-point median with the ball underneath your chin like this, and then you've got to roll the chin up. And it gives you that same sensation, but it's getting the neck in the same position, but with the hand behind the head, it helps with the fascial release, which is quite nice. Or you can just like literally put this underneath your head and lie down on it, and you can get the same fascial release.
So Renee, the fascial release there then is in the back line here. Is that correct? Did you hear me? Sorry. She's frozen.
Frozen.
Ren, did you hear me?
No, I didn't. Yeah, everybody froze.
All right.
Sorry, what did you
So
say?
the fascial release you're talking about is the back line here.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
The superficial back line. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly right. Cool. Yeah, Tom, you were going to ask something?
Have you got a release for the subscap, like with the ball? Someone's tried to show me once, and I want to work out how to do it, because I think it's important to be able to release that.
So, I mean, the problem with the subscapularis is that it literally is underneath the shoulder blade.
Yeah.
It's one of, yeah, exactly. But it also does, so you've got the serratus, so don't forget that the serratus actually comes underneath here, but and under the scapula, but the subscapularis goes from the shoulder blade onto the humerus. So it's quite fun. Actually done a specific release.
Yeah.
You've got the teres minor, which externally rotates, and then you've got the supraspinatus, which externally rotates. So subscapularis is the internal rotation. So, oh, you know what, Tom? You know what? I don't know if that would work, because it might be too much on the front of the shoulder. Almost if you were to lie prone. I've done this one before.
Yeah.
Then that at least will be an internal rotation. You could try that.
Okay.
Because the only section of it you can actually get to is the connection onto the arm. You can't actually get underneath the scapula.
Yeah, because of where that connects, I find especially with my older clients, they feel a lot of the work into that point where it connects, and I just want to be able to release that so that it's not all about that area. It's, you know, getting the full range back.
Yeah, so you know what, to be honest, you could even just take this and massage it, because that's going to stimulate the fascia. Or you could do lying prone and literally just putting weight on it, and then just get them to figure out, like, just to move their arm around, maybe going into the internal rotation in the back, and then maybe going external, like getting that kind of movement. That might help.
I remember Anula did a very interesting thing gripping a ball, and we did this pressing back to try and activate and strengthen the arm in that position behind us as well.
Yes. No, absolutely. So, I mean, all of that, I think, is actually going to help get that range, but that's going to be more depending on where you put the ball. So if you put the ball there, it's going to be more pec minor and pec major. And then as soon as you move it onto the arm, then you'll be getting pec major, latissimus dorsi, and then subscapularis. So if I were you, I'd kind of like play around with all of those and see kind of how it works and how it, you know, what kind of effect it has for the clients.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Fantastic, guys.
Thanks, Renee.
Lovely having you on the series. So hopefully I think I'm going to see some of you next week for the advanced class and for the fascial class. And then I think I'm going to do another full series for the last 2 weeks of July. So I'll run it for another 2 weeks, and I'll keep you guys posted. And if there's any requests of stuff to do, then you must let me know as well.
Definitely a lower back release. Lower back, like overactive lower back muscle.
Yeah.
That's what you want for clients.
Both.
We're all interested in the stuff that affects us, eh?
Yeah, I find that those lower back muscles and relation with the glutes, obviously, how they this gripping sensation versus the activation, you know, and
exactly. So Tom, you didn't do the pelvic stability series now, hey?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I'm going to see, I'll send you some of the links to that as well so you can check it out. And if that's the kind of stuff that interests you, then I'll integrate that into the series as well.
Fantastic.
Okay.
And you do bar as well, huh?
Yes, oh yes. There's been a request for some bar classes.
Oh, wow.
So we should actually get Tom teaching those.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bar put in my studio on Monday.
Yeah, oh, fabulous. I saw you put out on Facebook that you were looking for some contact. So that's awesome.
I'm excited.
That's wonderful.
Ren, what course are you doing next week?
So on Tuesday is Advanced Mat. It's the original 34.
Okay.
And then on Thursday is fascial release, and we're focusing on the superficial front line and the superficial back line.
And Thursday, is it just one day? Or
It's
are you
just
doing
yeah, that's the last class of that fascial series.
Okay.
And then I think on the Friday, I'll start a 2-week series for the Pilates flow again.
Okay.
Okay, brilliant.
I'll set up all the times and then I'll send you guys the info.
Excellent.
I fully expect Fina to be there, by the way. She hasn't missed one session, not one.
Thanks, Renee. Have a good weekend.